The world is full of wonders.
Magic is hidden in small moments.
And monsters could be hiding just out of sight.
But if you're looking to find them,
adventure is waiting to happen.
You never know who you'll meet along the way.
We are the Storyteller Squad.
Hello, adventurers. Welcome back to the Storyteller Squad. Thanks for joining us for more Monster of the Week in Autumn Falls. We have a slightly sad announcement, I'm afraid. Our friend Clara, who played Bethany Miller, had to step away from the podcast. We miss having her on the cast, as I'm sure you'll all miss Bethany in the story going forward. We wanted to send her off properly, so for intros this episode, all of us shared things we liked about Bethany, and the hunters do still get to say goodbye, as Bethany heads off for bigger and better things. Let's start with Whittaker.
Hey everyone, my name is Emery and I play Agent Lonnie Whittaker. And Whittaker's favorite thing about Bethany was her unquestionable sense of moral fortitude and her ability to always do the thing that was good and just, regardless of what the situation felt like at the time.
One time where Damien was out in the woods getting attacked by a troll. He was completely overpowered and defeated by the troll. And Bethany had run out to go save him, which is pretty impressive because she doesn't have any, powers or any combat capability. And she was like, hey, my friend's in trouble. I'm going to go get them. So it's just a really good show of, her always looking out for her friends. And I'm playing director Damien Edquist.
Hello, my name is Maddie, and I play Felicity Starnbrook. Felicity's favorite thing about Bethany, number one, she gave me her backyard family that now lives at my house. And number two, she always makes my Starbucks drinks right when I go and get them. There's a lot of instructions. There's a lot of different syrups, and she gets it right every single time.
hello, I am Brittany and I play Raven Eugenia. And me and Raven are really going to miss Bethany's pep talks and Bethany's uncanny ability to just keep us on the moral path, even though we all sometimes are just a huge hot mess. Raven and Bethany are still going to text, and so Raven will be updating Bethany on the goings-on of the squad, and obviously they're going to talk about Precious and stuff, so it'll be fun.
My name is Ade. I'm playing Hugo Rashad. Concerning Bethany, he is very, very proud of the fact that she's able to deal with situations and look at them beyond just punch the thing to get rid of it. However, just because she's not going to be nearby doesn't mean he's letting her off the hook. He still is planning on testing her, so she's going to have to be prepared.
Hi everyone, I'm Natalie. I play Aidan Brightwood. I'm also your keeper. The thing Aidan is going to miss about Bethany the most is how she would stand up for you even if you didn't ask for it. Or if you were perhaps willing to let something go, Bethany would point out that maybe don't let people walk all over you. I, Natalie, the keeper, am going to miss Clara and Bethany as a character just for the fun storytelling challenge of having a mundane character. Claire's just awesome. But, life comes first, and we're here just to tell a story and share it with everybody. So let's have an adventure. Last time, our heroes were in the clutches of the Whispered at the start of things. The situation was not very good right at the offset, but the team of rescuers, Felicity with her vision of where people were being held captive, you guys managed to free Aidan, stop Whittaker from being executed, and basically by threatening to live stream everything, we're able to cause that chapter of the Whispered to disband. And so Hugo was left to pick up the pieces, as it were, by offering to continue to organize the cooperation between some of the younger members of the Whispered who were ready to back up his decision that killing witnesses is no longer a thing they're allowing themselves to do as an organization, despite the philosophical reasons from centuries past. You all left. You were basically returning home to sleep and decompress after what was a very stressful situation. Aidan had offered her apartment to Whittaker and Damien since the trailer is currently upside down. Everyone else went back to their own respective homes after a celebratory Taco Bell run. In our universe, Taco Bell still has its full menu, so it was actually good. And so, where do you guys want to pick up? Immediately the next day, or do you want some time to have passed?
I think some time having passed would be good because we all did just almost die a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I think it makes the most sense, especially just
Sure.
story-wise. If Bethany's gonna leave, I think it'd be weird to pick up like the very next day.
I want a step-by-step scene of writing Whittaker's trailer and picking up all the broken pieces of porcelain from his tea sets.
How many did he own?
Oh, he just had two, the standard and the fancy, but they're both gone now.
What's the song playing in the background as Whittaker over his wrecked trailer?
All around me are familiar faces.
But it's just Whittaker standing there with his arms crossed, watching as everyone else
attempts to flip and write the trailer. Yeah.
Felicity,
We can never ask him to help.
I imagine she tries to pick it up with magic first and then drops it again.
I think probably she goes to do something and everyone immediately is like, no. Yeah, so your trailer is, honestly, I don't know what flipping a trailer would do to its structural integrity. I can't tell if it would be totaled or just need body work.
Well, see, you can do as much damage as you want because it was a magical force, so it could have done as much crushing or pure force.
Yeah, we had established that the door area turned into a concave dent. So yeah, so it might be a complete wash, Whittaker. That being said, for the past few days, you have made yourself at home with Aidan Brightwood. Damien, you also would be staying there, which sort of makes all four of you now roommates, if we count Hugo in the mix. Aidan is still able to go work her job at the Maple Leaf, the diner in town. And I think we'll pick up there. She is perhaps on a shift, but it is a quiet Wednesday evening. I believe our last game canonically happened on a weekend, so it's been a few days. Not a lot going on. The dinner crowd has sort of fizzled out. We'll say it's around 8 in the evening. So she's really just serving coffee to a few other people. Raven, if you're on shift, you're on shift, but if not, maybe you guys just decided to all meet there and go over what your next steps are going to be. Or maybe just to see how everyone is handling having almost died and checking in to make sure that no one is slipping into a spiral or anything over that.
Well, I'm glad everyone could make it to today's meeting. I called us together so we could discuss next steps, and I felt this would be a nice, familiar atmosphere for everyone to eat and drink and make themselves comfortable.
What song did you put on the jukebox, Damien?
The last 3 songs that he heard. Yes.
You waited for someone else to put 3 songs in, and then you just boop, 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 those same 3 songs.
Yes.
Raven wasn't on a shift, but when she gets there, she just goes in the back and helps herself to like one of those diner like pots of coffee and a bunch of mugs and just brings them to the table.
Felicity makes her coffee, but she puts all the cream in first and then a ton of sugar, and it's filled up probably a little bit more than halfway with just cream and sugar, and then she puts a little bit of coffee on top.
Raven just sighs and gets up and gets more creamers and sugar for the table. Just doesn't say a word. Just goes and gets more, sits back down.
Hugo, you arrive on your bike outside. What has he been doing up until this point, since he's been given a few days to be left alone? Despite Whittaker moving in next door, he hasn't really bothered you, I don't think.
So, firstly, he's been checking in with people to make sure that, or the people within the Whisper, to make sure that the parents aren't really upset with their kids, seeing how everyone else is dealing with things. He's actually been also communicating with the rest of the group a bit more. He's actually been participating in the messaging chats and stuff, and not being as secretive about stuff in general because he doesn't really feel the need to as much anymore. It's not as life or death as he thought it was before.
Yeah, removing the threat of death on your friends makes socializing a lot easier.
The first time that Hugo actually responded in the group chat, it was just immediately flooded with like reaction pictures and stuff. People being like, he's alive! Oh my god! And, like screamers and stuff, just because he was like, hey.
In terms of your contacts, Hugo, Joseph Argyle obviously is still at the museum and helping you come to grips with the fact that you're now a chapter head. In reaching out to everyone else, the Yoshidas are fine. It's their grandfather who brought them into the organization, so they don't actually like live with him or see him all that often. They see him at the school, but then there's the facade of we're here to do karate, and that's it. They told you that they would continue with tracking down supernatural problems, and if you needed them for any sort of big job or needed to assign them somewhere else, they're happy to go. Rhea, who you've seen at work, you haven't heard from Zuri, but Rhea kind of speaks for the two of them. She says that her father, Dr. Singh, is still willing to supply you with new inventions, new magical devices that he is going to continue to work on in the workshop beneath Autumn Falls. Obviously, there were some groups in the Whispered who would just dust their hands off and were like, we're out. We didn't want to be in this group either. The only person you have gotten a troubled response from is Jordan, who says that while they support you, their grandmother is still telling them, don't get involved in those hunts. That's not our place or our responsibility. So you may have to go talk to her or them at some point in order to get that relationship firmly established as like, you're a member and I'm going to call on you to do things at some point. So all in all, damage control has gone well and you are, for the first time in a while, kind of off the hook.
Will it last?
I think you and I will probably go over at some point a change to your beginning of mystery rolls, which we should do.
I rolled a 9 and my sharp is now 3.
Ooh.
So I rolled a 12 for connect the dots.
I also got a 9. Well, I got a 9 total. So I get a clouded image of something bad that is yet to happen. Mark experience if I stop it.
Your vision, Felicity, is you don't get a sort of video in your mind the way you have for some of these other visions. It's more of a dream sequence that you get. You see your group standing together. You see lines of light spreading out from you and connecting your group, but then connecting to other groups of people. One line from you goes off and connects to a figure that kind of looks like your mom, like a silhouette of her. You have lines spreading from you to Aidan and to Raven and Damien and everybody. Bethany has a line that spreads off and connects to a large group of people. Whittaker has a line that spreads off and connects to a very large group of people. Hugo, similarly, also a pretty big group. All these lines are glowing with a faint pulse, and you see Bethany begins to walk towards the group that one of her lines connects her to, and then that group disperses, and her figure also fades in the mist, and the line between her and your group shoots out into the distance, and you can't actually see where it goes to now. And then you come out of this vision.
All right. Well,
doesn't necessarily have to have happened at this diner hangout.
Yeah.
Just things for you to know. Whittaker, I mean, you probably have contacted the agency, I would think. How much has he shared, in his report about the situation, if anything? You definitely have to report the camper being damaged, but...
Yeah, I think... Ooh, hard to say.
Damien under the bus.
So
And just be like, you know what? He's under control. No one got hurt, but you don't have to explain the addition of any other mystical force.
We're just going to say there was an attempted robbery, completely mundane robbery, and Damien flipped out a little bit. But all of the mundane robbers in question won't remember anything. Leaves it at that.
Okay.
I love the logic of Damien being like upset that you're getting robbed and therefore destroys everything in your house so you cannot be robbed.
It just turns into a bear, the thing that would cause the most damage to a trailer.
Yeah.
Like a Kodiak, like a big Northwest Pacific
Yes.
bear. So, in terms of open case files, Whittaker, you still have the shifter who got away. You still have the option of just Whittaker in general wanting to potentially recruit members of this group.
Damien has 2 coffee cups. One is made just like Felicity, and one is made just like Agent Whittaker.
Oh God, that would be terrible because I imagine Whittaker's is just straight black coffee, right?
Which is important.
Kind of balance out, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, but separately.
really put some whiplash on your tongue.
It becomes a coffee in your stomach. It's you guys sort of meeting up. Feel free to discuss, do some bonding.
That shapeshifter definitely got away, and I want to know everything we can about him.
Before we get down to the shapeshifter, Damien, I just want to check in with all of you. You're doing okay? Felicity, how you doing?
Fine, I guess. I'm alright. Been better.
You also, Felicity, have been thinking about that vision you got right at the tail end of the whispered rescue mission about that village.
Oh yeah, that. Actually really bad.
You're absolutely right, Agent Whittaker. I got carried away. It can't always focus on the mission. The human element comes first. We have to check in on all of our friends. Aidan, how are you doing emotionally right now?
She almost spills coffee on someone as she's refilling their cup. Excuse me a minute. And then goes back to the table. And she, in feigning to take your order, she says, I'm doing okay. My energy is back. I'm feeling healthy. I like having roommates. That's new. I know you guys are sort of getting used to the place, but it's nice having you around, especially after all that. I don't think being alone would have been good for me. And then somebody else calls at another table, excuse me.
I'll come back in a minute. My shift's almost over.
And she goes off again. Staying with Aidan is sort of odd in that Whittaker's job is a sort of stay-at-home job most of the time, unless he's out investigating. Damien, you just follow him around. So you honestly haven't seen a lot of Aidan, except for maybe a couple hours each night when she comes home from work and then stays up way past when you go to bed. And then you see her in the morning when she's getting ready to go. I guess we could talk a little bit about what you and her have done with the wee hours of the night, Damien.
Tried to get Aidan out to any nightclubs in the area. Definitely playing competing games. I imagine chess and checkers and Connect Four and all sorts of board games. Or is Aidan not the competitive type?
She's happy to indulge you in these games. Chess, she's really engaged with. She's totally happy to play these games with you. She almost is playing to indulge your want to play them, more so than getting competitive or being disinterested. It's just yes, sure, I can do that if you would like.
Mm-hmm. I will say that barring the night of the event where Whittaker slept very deeply, the second night he probably stayed up with them and joined them a bit. He was not interested in falling asleep for a good long while. There's a scene of the 3 of them playing Mancala, trying to work out 3-person Mancala.
3-person Mancala. I think at one point you probably give up and set up Mario Kart or something.
Yeah.
Aidan is the only person who can play Mario Kart without getting extremely angry at people she's playing with.
Whittaker does not behave like a 50-year-old man during Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Which is great because Damien will alternate between the two. You'll wreck his day and he'll be okay.
Right, because Aidan's being fine
about
about it. Yeah.
And go spiky for a second.
He does accidentally punch Damien at some point. He's oh my god, I'm so sorry.
I love it. Felicity, if you want to share with the group or vent to them or...
I'm doing bad.
Would you like to elaborate?
What bad how?
I told you guys about the vision that I had, right? The one where I burned a village down with my fire hand.
Oh, that's right.
That's super cool.
There were people living in it. Maybe I have fire powers or something, but I don't want to hurt
we
people.
don't know for sure that, you did it. I mean, it looked really bad, but, your visions don't always, they're not, exactly the future, right?
Are you 100% sure they were your hands?
Yes.
Felicity, actually, do you want to say that maybe in the days following you telling them about that vision, Whittaker's whole job is protecting the world from, supernatural events?
Protected from me.
Well, no, he probably would have asked, like, can you give me some descriptors of the village, and probably like start to do a little bit of research.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
he's got free time.
I would give you an entire rundown of what the people looked like, what the village looked like, where it was.
Whittaker, investigate a mystery.
I would love to.
Felicity, this sounds like mission stuff, and we're still checking in on everyone's feelings. Hugo, Raven, how are you two doing?
It's a 7.
Okay, you still get to ask a question. I will let you just ask a question, because those questions tend to be about monsters, and this is not that.
Yeah, I guess the big one is, where is that village? Or what villages in this area match that description? Or what places in this area match that description?
The short answer is, the village she describes is not modern. So it doesn't sound really like anywhere developed. And Felicity, could you just give me a straight weird roll?
8.
When you try to recall a vision, it's blurry, but it is almost like recalling a memory.
Mm-hmm.
And you are able to describe, what you describe is a fishing seaside place with some coniferous trees sort of lining rocky cliffs and a very sandy but rocks scattered across it beach. You describe one plant in particular that caught your eye just next to you on the ground. It's sort of a leaf pattern that you do a little doodle of because Felicity draws. And in trying to find that, Whittaker, you look it up, and it seems to be a plant native to the British Isles or the Scandinavian area of Europe as opposed to Northwest America.
So what you're saying is we're going to take a vacation, Whittaker? We're going on a family vacation?
Oh, no. Actually, this is excellent. This means as long as we keep you out of, keep you in America, nothing bad will happen.
Nothing bad has ever happened here.
Yeah, that's what you're able to find, is that the vision she has is of somewhere not in the immediate region.
Huh.
That is weird.
Interessante.
So we should go there, right? Because I totally want to see that.
We should not
hands
go
on
there.
fire in a burning village. I want to see it.
That's the exact opposite of what we should do.
No, I don't want to do that.
Damien, for the first time in your life, you're the only one who wants to do something.
I'm just kidding. What a dumb idea. Totally hang out here.
Yeah, you have people to check in with. Raven and Hugo still haven't said where they're at about everything.
Tell me about your feelings, Raven.
Raven just kind of sinks down in her chair a little more and takes a sip of coffee at everyone looking at her and asking about her feelings, and she just mumbles into it I'm fine. Honestly, I'm fine.
That sounds like a person who is not fine.
Wendy pokes their head up from sitting beside you in a coat pile. Everyone's coats are in one corner of the booth, and they poke their head out from it and then pad over and sit in your lap.
Raven looks around nervous and then remembers that most people can't see Wendy, but still tries to get Wendy to squish down a little bit in her lap and not be poking up over the table. Just get down there.
Mm-hmm.
No, Missy Junior, we actually never had a formal rundown on what this is.
You actually can't see it, Whittaker.
Oh, never mind. Just see Felicity just petting the air.
Felicity is petting the air, and Raven seems uncomfortable about something in her lap.
You're so used to this with Felicity at this point.
Yeah, that's actually a good thing to note. Is that, yeah, you maybe could infer, Whittaker, based on the fact that Wendy wasn't glamored when they were coming to rescue you.
That's right. You would have seen Wendy at least once.
You have seen them. You just don't see them now.
Raven forgets that not everyone in the group knows and just looks back up expectantly what were we saying?
Yeah.
You were talking about your feelings.
Feelings!
Oh, right. I've been okay. It's been, I don't know, things were weird, but they seem to be okay now. right, Hugo? Like, that was the thing that, like, we all could have died, and, like, you would have had to kill us if we knew, but, like, now we know, and, like, it's okay, right?
It
So, like, that
seems
worked.
that way.
It's, like, things are okay.
Let's quickly flash back to, like, yesterday or the day before, Raven, and I'm going to have you read a bad situation as you, like, attend karate class for the first time since running into Haru in the depths of a secret organization.
Boy. That's a 14?
Wow.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Just use sharp for everything now, jeez.
Yeah. When you get there, he almost catches you off guard when he, like, calls your name. You jump a little bit. Raven, would you mind demonstrating what we went over last week? He calls you to the front to spar with him.
She definitely freezes for a moment and, like, looks around, and then is like, all right, this is normal. Like, he's done this before. And then goes up to the front. Bring it on.
He takes the same stance that he did when he was in the doorway of the lab and confronting you guys. And he looks at you very, very seriously. And then he winks at you. And you guys go through the form that you practiced last week in class. And when he finishes, he helps you up because he has you, like, demonstrate the fall part of it. Excellent work. I'll be seeing you early next week for a kids class, right?
Yeah, you will.
Okay. Let me know if anything else comes up as a scheduling conflict.
Sounds good.
Yeah, normal and seemingly friendly interactions with your friends who backed up your rescue attempt. So that's nice.
Flash forward and Whittaker says, Miss Eugenia, do you want to come to Portland with me? I've got a scheduling conflict for you.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Wait, no, we haven't checked in with Hugo yet. We'll save that.
Okay.
Just needed a comedic
Throw it
timing.
on the table.
That's how Raven deflects.
She shoves some, like, French fries in her mouth. Oh, we should talk to Hugo about his feelings.
I
Beats
saw
on to
that.
Wendy.
It's a fair point, Mr. Rashad. How are you getting on?
I'm not cut out for administrative work, and I am tired. But I can't complain because you're not dead, and that's a plus.
Hey, I really appreciate that.
Aidan comes by with more water for you all and catches the tail end of Hugo speaking. A+ improvement, Mr. Rashad, and, like, hands you a little pastry or something.
He looks back. You can see the sigh in his eyes.
She says, you let me know if these two make any noise next door. And feigns sort of a, like, I'll lay down the law at you and Damien Whittaker.
Mario Kart games are getting pretty
Getting out of
intense.
hand.
You do recall that at one point during one of those nights, Hugo actually banged on the wall because it was really, really late and he needed sleep before work.
Sorry.
How about your feelings, Damien?
Damien just, like, keeps copying other people's responses. I'm fine. I mean, we almost died, but now we're good.
Speaking of almost dying, Agent Whittaker, how are you doing?
You know, it's part of the job. Speaking of, as Damien so concisely put at the beginning of our meeting, we were actually in the middle of something before all of the whispered nonsense came up. And I think it's high time I make my way back over to Portland and to the Eastey Agency to get a bit of a shine up on the sort of case we got open right now. And I was wondering if any of you would like to join us. There is prime opportunity to get some of you all equipped with things that might make your interest in the monster hunting and supernatural business a little bit more, a little bit less lethal, I think. And Miss Eugenia, I know you've still been a little on the fence about coming up with me and taking up the job, but maybe this will be a bit of an eye-opener for you.
Yeah, I'll go. Let's take a road trip.
Anything to get out of teaching that class.
Yes.
Hope there are no scheduling conflicts there.
When is it? No, it's probably fine.
Aidan is, at this point, finished with her shift. She comes over and actually, like, sits down with you guys.
I actually think it'd be nice for all of us to go see a new place. I haven't actually traveled in a while.
And Miss Starnbrook, you and Mr. Rashad might be interested because we've got a few magic folk over at the Eastey Agency if you wanted more people to talk to about that.
Yes. Yes.
And Hugo, I know you are completely bogged down with administrative work, but perhaps if you're getting tired of that...
Family road trip!
I gotta tell you that infiltrating the Eastey organization as a member of a different organization is a ton of fun, and I highly recommend it.
I cannot encourage or discourage this behavior.
I don't think I can go under that particular pretense, but suffice to say, what is that old adage? I showed you mine.
Maybe get the leader of the new Whisper caught up with the times?
You've seen how archaic all of our stuff is.
I might have only spent one night in the Whispered area, but boy, do you all need some spreadsheets.
This is what the Eastey Agency can offer you and your secret company. iPads.
The knowledge of Google
tablets.
Excel.
Yeah. So you guys all agree that a trip to Portland and the Eastey Agency is in your future. Who reaches out to invite Bethany? Would that be Whittaker, do you think, would take that, since it's him organizing the trip? Or
Yeah, probably.
She sends you a text back and it says, "Where are you right now?"
I guess I'm at the Maple Leaf.
She says, "Swing by my place."
All right.
Anything anybody wants to do before the group splits up?
So after leaving the restaurant, Damien goes to the back garbage bin and then jumps up on top of it and then just empties out all the food and just like opens up his chest, bloop, right in the garbage, closes up. Okay, doot.
Okay, that's an interesting thing to make canon. Damien just has a food pocket that he keeps things in, and then gotta get rid of it somewhere.
God, I hate being this man's roommate.
Yeah, I suppose you, Aidan, and Damien would be driving together, right?
Yeah, that would make sense.
Hey, Raven, you want to come over and have our spirits play?
Yeah.
I feel like I always text Raven.
I feel like
"You wanna bring
Felicity
Wendy
asks
over?"
Raven a lot, and Raven
Yeah.
says yes like 30% of the time.
Yes.
I think it was probably the thing you've been doing in the last 4 days since Wendy existed.
Mhm. Felicity probably, I imagine she texts Raven like at least once, possibly twice a day. Being like, hey, do you want to come
Twice.
over and bring Wendy? Every once in a while, Raven says yes.
It's like she wants to just invite Wendy, but she knows that she should invite Raven with Wendy.
Wendy can get there without Raven.
Yeah. Hugo, let's follow you either home or what would he do after this little meetup and with his intention of going to Portland?
Goes back to the museum.
Has he just been sleeping there for a couple days, maybe?
After that incident
I was
with
gonna
the
say-
Mario Kart,
This
yeah.
is the Mario Kart.
Argyle is there. He also has like a room that he can stay in if he decides to stay overnight. Welcome back. I trust networking went well.
As well I can go in these days.
Well, these days are your days now, my boy, so better get used to them.
Mr. Argyle, have you ever been to an agency before?
No, can't say I have.
I've been given an opportunity to find out some stuff, and I think I'm going to pursue it.
Makes sense. If Whittaker was his name, if you're going to keep working with him, might be sort of in line with your current modus to encourage sharing. Clearly, the outfit he's with is allowed him to do our job just without any of our training and expertise. So they're doing something right.
I'll do my best to make sure I bring back at least some souvenir for you. An electric kettle? You could use an electric kettle.
Certainly. This is the thing probably that Whittaker introduced Hugo to, and now he's like, everyone I know needs one of these. Everyone I know. Argyle, that's it.
Argyle, you make your tea too slowly.
Right. Where, if I might ask, will you be going for this investigation?
You know, I don't actually know where it is. I want to say it's over in Portland, but Not sure.
I'd think it was a rather large building to staff an organization as large as he claims it to be. But then again, we're no strangers to keeping large groups hidden from the public eye, at least up to a point.
I have a feeling that they'd be more of the in plain sight kind of people.
Yes, I would be interested in knowing how far up the ladder their influence goes.
I agree. And with that, Hugo goes over back to one of the tables, pulls out some books, and also pulls out one of the sets of spellslinger armor and such, and starts just doing maintenance to it.
Raven and Felicity. You guys get to Felicity's house. It's the evening, but you guys stay up late, so. Where do you go to let the spirits play? Backyard? One of the rooms in the house?
I imagine the backyard.
I would think Felicity's family is the kind that keeps like white Christmas lights up all year round, just to light the area.
Yep. We've made it canon in the F chat that Felicity's mom has made lemonade.
I love
Does
that.
she just panic when Felicity brings people over because it happens so infrequently?
She has no idea what to do when Felicity has people. When Felicity has people over, I feel like she just like stuffs them filled with food because she's so excited that somebody else is there. So like she sees your car pull up and both of us get out and she starts frantically throwing together like fresh lemonade. She's like, you want to stay for dessert? I can make some cupcakes. Do you want to help make cupcakes? Do you want to make cupcakes with me?
I love this pastry chef in times of panic that we've added to your mom's personality. That's delightful.
I know how to make bread. Do you like bread? Cake? We have some apples. I can make pie. Felicity's mom is a woman of many talents.
Mm-hmm.
Raven's incredibly awkward and just politely declines all of it because she doesn't want to feel like an inconvenience. So unless Felicity says yes to any of the food, Raven's like, oh no, you don't have to do that. No, that's so sweet of you. Thank you so much. But we just ate. Thank you.
So because it was all declined, she's going to make all of it. She didn't get an answer.
She says, something simpler. Simpler is good. I'm going to run to the store. I'll make Rice Krispie treats. That's easy. I can throw that together really quick. And so she goes immediately.
Get the rainbow sprinkles to go on top, Mom.
Of course, honey.
She comes back with 12 different toppings for Rice Krispie treats.
Yeah, so you guys go out into the backyard. Do you want to add any more flavor to that other than the oak tree with the swing in it?
There's definitely a garden, which has gotten noticeably nicer.
That's true, right? We did establish that. All the brick things lining the boundary of the garden are picked clean of weeds. They're all perfectly straight and upright and at nice, pleasing angles. There's none of those little grass stalks that want to shoot up in every garden ever. This garden looks immaculate.
Yep, she has a really nice garden. She has a back patio, but it's one of those ones where it has the awning over it of those bulbs that hang down and all the pretty little lights and some comfy places to sit back there. And then it's just the tree and the swing, and that's Felicity's backyard. And then just woods. Behind that is just all woods.
Raven stares really hard at the garden for a while, trying to catch sight of one of the bogalogs.
Okay, you definitely do. I mean, you know what to look for. So whereas one person might just see a little movement and then see a leaf go by, you follow that movement intently. And you see this little bogalog. His beard is in a lot of braids. And then the hair under his little mushroom hat has little bits of moss and things growing in it. He's actually carrying a garden spade over his shoulder, he's on patrol basically.
Felicity has unsuccessfully made an attempt to learn all of their names, but they don't really speak to her that much. But she does come home every day and try to say hi to them. But it hasn't worked too well yet.
Yeah, I don't think you know this one yet by name, but he does. You see his little eyes not paying attention to you right away because he's just sort of scurrying through the vegetables. But he does see that you guys are over there and probably catches sight of the spirits running around first, and then sees you, Raven, and gives a little
wants the little wave.
Yeah, it's like a polite nod. He doesn't like spend time or like wave, but he's kind of like, and then goes and he like lifts an earth pot, like those clay orange pots, and disappears under it. But
She just wanted to wave, just checking to make sure they're all good. Yeah, I don't think they do much. If they've been hanging out a lot at this point, Felicity and Raven just like hang out on their phones, just like sit in comfortable silence and watch the spirits play. And every once in a while they'll be like, "Oh, look at this cute video I saw of a cat." Like, "Oh, cute." "Oh, look at this funny meme." And it's like that kind of hanging out.
Do you talk about the upcoming trip to Portland at all, or Felicity's visions, your magic, that stuff?
Raven doesn't bring it up. She will talk about it if Felicity wants to, but
yeah.
So like Windy, huh?
Yeah, what about Windy?
Now, how'd that happen? Weird how these things happen.
What are you getting at?
Your magic!
Okay, well, I don't think I'm magic. I think I did magic. There was a book, and I read some instructions, and there's these magic cards, and like I did the thing. I don't think it's me. I think it's
you did the thing. There's now a creature here who
but like
you around. And
I feel like anyone could have done it.
I don't. I'm gonna put something out there really quick. I don't really think that Bethany could have done it.
Somewhere across town, Bethany just like stiffens up and is like,
yeah, she sneezes.
I feel like maybe not anyone could do it, but like you have like magic, like you can do things like with your hands, and you can just do it like with your brain. I was like reading instructions practically.
Have you ever tried to do it with your brain?
Maybe. I don't think so.
Try right
I haven't
now.
tried.
Go talk to my tree.
I don't know. I feel like that's like your special thing.
No.
I don't want to. I don't want to bother. It's late. I don't want to bother.
I'm gonna grab her hand and we're gonna go over the tree.
Okay.
I don't want to bother you, tree. It's really fine. It's hello, tree.
So Felicity, you hear the leaves rustling, and her voice comes through your mind. Good evening, young Felicity. I see you brought more spirits to frolic beneath my boughs.
Craziest thing about this one. Craziest thing. This lady over here poofed him out of thin air. I saw it with my own eyes.
Raven waves awkwardly at the tree. Can she hear the tree speaking to Felicity?
You don't at first, but then this figure from like the corner of the yard emerges from the forest. It's this hunched over lady with that like very wrinkly skin and a little basket. It almost gives you like a jump. It starts slowly at first and very quietly, just a thin air. And she comes over and pats Felicity on the shoulder. That would make sense for a jackalope. They are wind spirits. And when she says that, she looks at you, Raven, and you feel this like connection to her. It's been a while since I have had the pleasure of speaking to a druid.
I'm sorry, what?
Talk to my tree.
It's really nice to meet you. Felicity's told me a lot about you.
Well, I'm flattered. I wouldn't think there'd be much to say about an old tree like me.
Well, you seem to give her a lot of really helpful advice.
And acorns.
And also acorns.
They are my gift to all. And she reaches into her basket. Her hand comes forward, but there's nothing in her hand, but she goes to like gesture to hand you something, Raven. So if you put your hand out, an acorn like drops from the tree into your hand.
Raven just like stares at it, like cups it, and then like looks up at the tree and then like back at the old lady and is like, "Thank you."
Now you get why I love them.
She chuckles again. You hear the wind or the leaves rustling some more.
Gently holding the acorn close.
So, wait, tree. I'm sorry, Raven, to derail your conversation that you're having. You called her a druid?
Well,
yeah, can we go back to that?
Yeah, it seems like an important thing, maybe.
It's just a name. There are many names for those who talk to and reach out to spirits. And Windy runs by your feet, being chased by Tom and Ghosty, and they do a little lap around the tree trunk and then run off again to some other part of the yard.
Told you it was you that did it.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, so you're new to all this.
You could say that, yeah. I don't know what I'm doing.
She's done one singular thing, and it's make this jackalope.
Windy hears you talking about it and comes over and then sits down next to you. Raven looks at you, looks at Grandmother Tree, looks back at you.
Raven's gonna pat her shoulder in a gesture to come on up.
They hop up in a single leap and just perch perfectly there. They're kind of sniffing at your hair and then watching the Grandmother Tree again. So you haven't spoken to the other spirits yet?
The other spirits?
There are many. I suppose I count as another.
I guess that makes sense. I just hadn't really thought about talking to any of them.
Some are less talkative than others. Windy rubs its little raccoon paws together in front of its nose, or lack of, because it's got that wooden mask.
How would I go about talking to other spirits?
The same way you called upon your companion there.
I can do that again?
Yes, my dear. It's called doing magic.
Streets! I'm a little affected.
Love her.
I feel like Raven kind of chokes on her own spit for a second. Yeah, okay. All right.
I mean, to her, it's the most natural thing in the world. She's just yes, the thing you did.
Wow. I don't know. I never thought about trying it again. I got windy. I didn't know what else would happen if I tried again, but I guess logically it makes sense that I would just get someone else. What would happen to Windy, though? I don't get just one, right?
Druids, their purpose is to communicate with the spirits, soothe their problems, or ask for their help.
Okay.
Felicity, don't you know any other druids or witches?
I know a girl that has animal legs. She's my girlfriend.
She doesn't respond to that, but she nods. World has changed, I think.
Were there more before?
When I was a sapling, yes, I knew a few. When I was part of my mother tree, I knew quite a few more.
Yeah, this is the only one I've ever met.
Talk to the spirits. They will guide you. Without a teacher, it's what you'll have to do. Windy hops down from your shoulder, Raven, and goes and approaches the old woman. The old lady pats its head. You look out for them. Taps its mask twice, and then the leaves start to rustle a bunch, and you look up to be oh, what's happening there? When you look back, she's gone.
Wow. That was something. Raven sits down in the grass. I could have imagined that 100 different ways, and I never would have imagined it like that.
She's pretty cool, isn't she?
She's really cool.
She's so cool.
I really hope the tree can hear us.
If she can or she can't, that. She's not responding.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't expect her to, but Raven hopes that she hears them gushing over her.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still have your acorn?
Oh yeah, she's still got it.
Important. Keep that. I don't know why. Haven't found a use for them yet, but I have every single one of them that she's given me hidden and tucked away for a rainy day.
Trees.
What?
They're just regular acorns. You can plant them.
Yeah.
Trees.
Ghosty and Tom snack on them a lot. Do you guys have more for that scene, or are you feeling pretty good?
I think Raven spends a little bit longer there just talking about the tree and like how long Felicity's been talking to her, like just getting a little more background, like chatting. We don't have to like play it out or anything. And then after a while, she calls back Wendy and goes back home. And I think she puts the acorn on one of her shelves with all her other little like crystals and animal bones and stuff, but she's gonna plant it. It's late at night, so she's not gonna go in her backyard right now, but she's gonna plant that acorn.
Damien, Whittaker, and Aidan, you are gonna go to Bethany's house. Yeah. She said to come to her. I think Aidan notices right away that you're not headed right to the Riverview apartments. Oh, did you have to pick something up, or?
I'm going to talk to Bethany real quick.
Oh, we should invite her to Portland, right?
I did. I'm going to talk to her about it.
Oh. And then it's quiet for the drive over there. When you get to the Miller's house, a lot of the lights are on. There's an extra car in the driveway. You're not sure who it is, but you see the house is lit up for 9 o'clock at night. Do you just call her?
He texts Beth. Oh, yeah, no, he calls her. Just says, like, hey, I'm outside.
She comes out, meets you over by the car. I can't go with you to Portland, and I can't do this anymore either. My family's moving. My dad just got back from his trip, and I guess he got a promotion or whatever. So, yeah, he wants to take the family up to Vancouver to be closer to that office because he's going to be there more often.
I see. Well, I'm sorry you can't stick around with us more, but if I'm going to be honest, this is probably a good choice. I'm sorry. Do you have a lot of friends here? I'm sorry, moving's tough.
She says, "Oh, I'm not actually going with them.
Oh,
but I am leaving. I'm gonna go to see my sister in New York, and I might stay there. That thing with Hugo, he's not with you, is he?" She kind of like looks in the car, and like Aidan kind of just gives a little like, "Hey."
No, just the supernaturals.
Oh, perfect, great. Of course you would bring them. Sure. Anyway, that was crazy, and I don't think I'm meant to do that sort of thing the way you guys are. I do still want to help people. I'm just going to do it the way I meant to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, of course. Bethany, you saved my life in there, and I want you to know that. And I hope you continue to save lives in any way, big or small, that matters most to you. And if that means going to New York and continuing a psychology degree or anything to that effect, go for it and stay out of this business. You're young. Don't throw that life away if you can help it. You can do better work somewhere else.
Yeah, same to you. Try not to get in those situations again. Hugo, hopefully, will have your back and everything. And at this point, Aidan has like gotten out of the car, goes over to Bethany and just like gives her a hug. Oh, yeah, okay, this is happening. Yeah, you too. Be careful. That was weird seeing you, not all kick ass and everything the way you normally are. Aidan nods sheepishly. She says, I'll look out for everybody. I promise. And Bethany smiles. Okay. Damien, you're in the car.
So, quick keeper question. Could Damien take a dollar store water gun, use magic to enchant his acid to put it in the gun as sort of an enchant weapon to give to Bethany?
Yes. Enchant item is like a thing you can do. You just have to roll the magic spell for it.
I would like to do such a thing.
Ooh.
11.
Okay. You easily enchant a little water pistol. You know how those guns are always like a shiny color and then they've got like the orange cap? When you cast your magic on it, the whole thing is now green. There's no like differentiation between any of the plastic or anything.
Yeah. Bethany, stay safe out there. This is for you. Aim for the eyes. It's people's weak spot.
Oh, wow, Damien. Okay.
And it's plastic, so you can take it on an airplane when you go to New York.
That's not better. Yes. Uh-huh. Thank you, Damien. Really. Stay out of trouble.
Whittaker scoffs.
Yeah. But Bethany continues. She says, I was not in a good place when I met you, but you taught me a lot, Damien, about other people and myself. And I can't thank you enough for that.
Well, my mood and my energy are pretty much a direct reflection on the people around me. So everyone needs to keep it up, you included. So I appreciate your hard work recently.
She smiles and she gives you a hug.
Absolutely. It's good hug time.
I'm gonna call everyone else. I'd like to be the one to tell them. I hope you guys stay safe and, as much as you can. I know, monster, whatever, maybe you'll meet another person who wants to eat you or something. That'd be wild.
We'll try our best. I'm worried about Starnbrook and Eugenia. But hopefully, they seem to got good heads on them and both are doing what they can. And I wish they'd follow your lead. I'm going to be honest.
I don't think they could, even if they
Sorry.
wanted to. They're not like me. But that's beautiful in its own way. Right, Aidan? And she nods and Aidan says, like I said before, you're perfect, just as you are, Bethany. And she nods and gives you guys a little wave and heads back into the house. And you see when she opens the door that her father is there in the kitchen talking very animatedly with Bethany's mom. And her youngest sister and Sophia, Lydia and Sophia, are also there. One of them's on the phone. The other one is part of the conversation with the two parents. And so the Miller house is abuzz with excitement, a little bit of nervousness, but things are changing.
Well, we'll miss her.
Aidan nods. They're all going to be fine. That soothing feeling that she has permeates the car, but also spreads out and hits the house too.
I have to leave in maybe about 15 minutes just in order to get all my shit together so I don't stay up till 3 a.m. again. But you do whatever you're going to do. I would request that I was seen with Hugo I need to do.
I mean, you guys probably wouldn't leave immediately the next day if you want to hook up with Hugo that afternoon or just sort of finalize travel plans or whatever.
Yeah. And I think he sends a text to Hugo saying do you want to discuss how we'll be introducing you to the agency and what sort of relationship would your chapter like with the agency, just so we're all on the same footing? That's what the text says. Hugo, how do you respond?
You get a response that says, museum, 1 hour.
I like a man who's clear and direct.
Can't get much else out of him, so at least he's given you that.
Yeah, so in 1 hour, Whittaker drives up to the museum. What time of day is it now?
Depends on what Hugo is envisioning for this, because it's the next day, so it could literally be any time.
Would that be a Friday?
It would make it Friday.
Okay.
Lunch break.
Lunch break. Meets you at the entrance and actually brings you back to that same downstairs area.
Well, it's nice being here without being killed.
Actually, I'm going to say that Aidan goes with you, unless this is a thing you want to be private about, Whittaker. Because she has a question for Hugo also. It's less about the past and more about the thing that's about to happen with you all traveling to the agency.
He's hesitant when he mentions and Aidan says oh, can I come too? He's hesitant at first. He's like, no, you should come. Yeah, I think you should.
Damien, you are sitting in her nook with her headphones on, and she just looks at Whittaker and is like, go now.
Yeah, do it while he does not paying attention.
Do it while he's not paying attention, yeah.
200%, that's all you have to do, and you're scot-free.
Is anyone else around in the scene?
I would think you guys could go to the outdoor butterfly garden part of the museum to sit with your sandwiches and chat.
Sounds nice. Hugo, we can talk business in a bit or on the way there or whatever. But oh god, how do I was thinking about what you said at the diner about you show me yours, I'll show you mine, and Hugo, I very badly wish to call you my friend, but Eastey Agency is obviously a big part of my life, but it's not it's not mine. And I don't want you to think that their secrets are all my secrets and that sort of thing. What am I saying? Hugo, you've done a lot for me. You've done so much for me in the past week, and you've saved my life, and I cannot thank you enough for that. I'm going to ask you to keep one more secret, if that is okay.
Well, that is the business that I'm in.
Should I go? Is this a thing?
No, Aidan, you should hear this too, actually, if you haven't guessed it already. I didn't leave England by choice. The reason I'm working with the Eastey Agency at all is because I couldn't work in England anymore. And I hate people not knowing, but it's hard to explain, and it makes things a little weird. I'm 28 years old. I like this image of myself, and I work to maintain it a lot, but it's not really real. Back in England, I made a few mistakes, pretty bad ones actually. I ended up getting a little bit twisted by all of it. Ended up getting a few decades of my life sucked away, and now I look like this, and it's just kind of, it is what it is, and we work with it. But it's not really something people know, and it's, like I said, it's hard to explain. It makes things weird, but I'm not as far different from you as I think a lot of the group tends to think I am. And I feel bad not telling anyone, and I just want you to know.
So at that, Hugo looks perplexed for a moment, looks over at Aidan, ponders for another second, looks back at Whittaker. Sure, old man. Sure. But he says it in a manner that you can tell that he understands.
Yeah, sorry. We can talk business now. This is,
Aidan takes her hand, Whittaker, and she says, I'm not 28. I don't think it's easy for people to think about how old I am. Not the same, obviously, but I think I understand a little bit of where you're coming from. Weird is where we're comfortable. And she looks at Hugo and she says that. I think it's unique for anyone to encounter our world and come away unchanged. But you're definitely not alone now.
I could ask a question.
By all means.
Essentially the same question that you asked me a while back, I think. If you could change it or take it back, would you?
Yes, I would.
I think that's where we differ slightly. But I respect that.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm glad that I know the things I know, and I'm not just sitting in the dark anymore, wondering why some things come back never explained. And I like protecting people. I like being able to do that for them, and I like the work and the things that come with it. But I don't know. If I could get a chance to pull the wool back over my eyes, I don't know. Maybe.
That being said, nothing's impossible. If there's any way to get you those years back, now we know to look for it.
Believe me, I have been looking. But yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice.
My question, Hugo, and it is sort of a question for you also, Whittaker. Is there some way that we could pass me off as something other than what I am? I know you took Damien, and I haven't asked him about how that went, but I imagine he got poked and prodded a lot.
Pretty thoroughly.
Yeah, I'd like to avoid that if possible.
He enjoyed the process quite a bit, from what I remember. I can't even begin to imagine that you would approach the same level of enthusiasm.
I'd also like to assume that your agency has a better ethics board than my compatriots.
It's a bigger ethics board for sure, and we certainly don't kill witnesses. But yeah, My plan was to pass all four of you off as just other magic users. Potentially, I could just say they're part of Hugo's order, which is another thing I wanted to discuss with Hugo. And they're looking to have a partnership with the Eastey Agency, and hopefully, as long as Olivia Eastey, and he like freezes a bit when he says the name because then he remembers all the shit that Damien had said. I don't think they'll be too inclined to poke and prod if we don't give them a reason to.
So I don't have to worry about like blood tests or anything like that?
Okay. Do they make you do a blood test?
It would depend what she's coming in as. That's why she's asking you. Like,
right, yeah. If she's coming in as a human who can do magic, that I imagine would just be like, oh, they'd ask questions about the magic, if anything.
yeah, they would probably ask her to display like what she can do. But she's
Whittaker
like,
relays this to Aidan.
yeah, and she says, okay, well, in the same vein, Hugo, do you have any, like a talisman or something? I talked about this with Whittaker where I need to, if we're going after things and I'm going to be helping you guys, then I'd like to be able to draw a little bit more on my power to do that. But I would like not to catch the attention of my siblings again. So, again, I haven't touched magic in a long time, especially not human magic. So is there some sort of thing you could do to mask my signature?
Hugo, Dr. Singh, obviously his whole contraption was a bit of we don't want a repeat of it, but surely you might have had some notes on machinery or magic that could detect angelic power, celestial energy, and he was trying to steal it, but perhaps there's a way to rework the machinery and make it into something that could just dampen it or keep it from escaping a certain area. Is that anything? I cannot stress how much I do not know what magic is.
Well, he has worked on quite a few different things, and I know there's enough knowledge in books and stuff out there that we can probably figure out something. Suffice to say, if they could figure out how to make it work for an anime, we can find a way to make it work in the real world.
Those are those cartoons?
You remember the one with the screaming guys? Like, constantly screaming?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that one?
That one specifically, yeah.
Okay.
Although I will say, I would prefer if we don't actually mention the order while we're there. While our ways are changing, there are still some things that shouldn't be messed with just yet.
Yeah, I figure keep it a secret as much as possible.
Completely understandable. So the story is we've got 4 magic users already predisposed to the supernatural world, so there's no need for any of the NDAs or what have you. And I'm bringing them in as prospective agents.
I don't know that we need to be hired.
I'm not saying you do. I'm trying to come up with a reason for you all to be able to see the inner workings of the Eastey Agency and not the facade they put up for people outside.
Perhaps you're doing more of a community outreach program?
We could do something like that, yeah. I just need a reason to bring you all in here and not have to have... I want you all to have access to the resources because I think they'd be very beneficial to all of you. But I need a reason for you all being able to get those resources.
I suppose you've been in Autumn Falls a while, right?
Fair time, yeah.
You've discovered that the community here is rich with supernatural awareness.
And we use that as a way to have them pour a little more money into the area, perhaps?
Maybe, or they, give you sort of a temporary, I don't know, like a franchise?
A new headquarters in Autumn Falls.
We'll take our direction from you and you get your orders from the top.
Yeah, fair enough. We can probably swing that, yeah.
Well, that works for me. Again, I just don't think, well, you saw how everybody at the Whisper reacted to me being around, and they're a little more keyed in than a lot of your people, I would think.
Yeah, I would not want any sort of repeat of those particular events if we can avoid it.
Agreed.
Hi, everyone. I know I'm not with you right now. That last mission where I think we fought and then became best friends with all of Hugo's already best friends in his little society. I think we like played D&D together. I really didn't keep track of what was going on the whole time. That was my last one. There's not really a good way to explain this over a voicemail, but there comes a point in your life where you discover that monsters exist. For some people, you find your passions and fight the obstacles to achieve them. But it's pretty cool when it's actual literal monsters for once. If you ever reach that point in your life, everything, for just a moment, can become astoundingly clear to you. And if you've ever had that sense of clarity, you'll know how fleeting it can be, and that you have to hold on to it. So here's mine. I'm not a monster hunter. All of you are on this great, crazy road to success. You're on your way to shooting big guns, and jumping away from explosions, and blasting aliens, I think. I don't know if aliens exist. We didn't really get there yet. And that's not me. All the monsters I want to face are ones we'll see daily, just getting out of bed every day. My clarity is that I am not a monster hunter, but that's okay because I'm so much stronger than I ever gave myself credit for. And I'm on my way to New York to find whatever version of monster hunting I want to do. And like I said, it's okay. I have a life beyond Autumn Falls for the first time in a while. And I have a life beyond waiting for some guy to tell me that I'm worthwhile when I was always worth so much more. I couldn't have told you any of that a few months ago. And to be fair, saying goodbye a few months ago would have been a lot easier too. I have no way to return the favor for everything all of you gave me. I can only give you advice. Trust each other. There's this whole thing about you don't need to like me, you just need to respect me for something to work out. You need to like each other. And you all do, whether or not you're there and admitting it to yourselves. So start admitting it, nerds. With love. You're Theta, your leader. I mean, I was like the hottest person there. And your friend, Bethany Miller.
Natalie.
Yes.
While you guys were like, oh, we got away from Damien. This is great. And, it works for a little bit. And then, Damien looks around. There's no people. And he sees a fly flying about. Damien turns into a fly, but a fly that can go through walls. So he's just going to, cruise through all the other apartments.
Okay.
Just cruising.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a weird demon question?
Sure.
If all of the goop that is Damien condensed down into a fly, does that mean he's a really, really dense, heavy fly? If someone tried to swat him, would it break their hand?
Well, I think what it is right, because you have your pocket dimension, if you become smaller, you just put some of yourself in the pocket dimension. In that same vein,
That makes sense.
If you want to be bigger, you just take the extra stuff that you normally don't have out and take that out of the pocket dimension. So Damien's size is sort of malleable in that he's dealing with extra planar spaces.
Okay.
In which to store both pieces of himself and the mass that would otherwise need to go somewhere.
I was just picturing Ant-Man physics where it's a teeny tiny person, but if he gets thrown into a wall, it breaks the wall. So
yeah, I don't
that's what I was picturing as a little fly where you're hey, ow.
Yeah, I'll tell you why I don't want to deal with that. Because that basically gives Damien super strength in
we're not doing that.
Certain scenarios. We're not going there. But yeah.
Sorry for interrupting.
It's okay. The rest of the apartments are fairly normal. Most of them are way more decorated than Aidan and Hugo's. Some of them are much bigger than those two's apartments. Because again, this is an old mill building, and so it's not standard, I guess I would say, in the layout of the rooms, because they were able to come in and just sort of design the floor plan however they wanted. But yeah, you manage a fun little fly exploration tour of the apartments, and no obvious supernatural folks stand out. Emery's got to go. Do you mind if I take over driving Whittaker for the next hour or so?
Yeah, just let me know if he does anything radical in that time.
I will try to whisk him away into an agency debriefing meeting or something like that, and we'll have the rest of them abandoned, quote unquote, by him at the Eastey Agency.
Oh my God! Yes. No. That's it. That's perfect. Do exactly that.
And so then we'll pick up next time for you anyway with that meeting.
The building. I come back onto the Zooming. The building is on fire.
Felicity
Right,
flipped
thanks.
the whole building this time.
Yeah. All right. So I loved that scene. That was so good.
That Whittaker reveal was huge. He was like,
Yeah.
I was just like, wait, what?
Very, very cool.
Years sucked out of me. I was like, oh my lord.
The question is it vampire sucked out or is it Princess Bride sucked out?
Didn't get the details, just the cold hard facts. I'm thinking we can putz around in Autumn Falls for a bit if we want. Maybe do some I'm going on a trip stuff with people that you guys know. Or we can jump right into, you guys arriving in Portland and maybe do some supernatural stuff there before heading to the agency itself.
Road trip.
Road trip!
All right, road trip it is. So you guys take Whittaker's truck and strap Hugo's bike to the back of it, maybe?
Yep.
You could definitely fit all of you in that truck.
Especially because Damien can turn into any sort of small critter.
Yeah, he can ride in the cup holder.
Yeah.
Be a hamster!
Yes.
Be a hamster!
A little hamster. And just give him a little munchkin or something to
Yeah!
nibble
Yeah.
on.
You guys probably bring some overnight bags. This is going to be we're going to stay in the city a couple nights. And so you pile all that into the back of the truck, which I think, did we say it was a pickup? So you probably have to stretch a tarp or something over that. I guess I've always pictured it as an SUV with that big hatchback thing. But in any
pickup
case,
trucks can have the back covering that's plastic.
they can, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can throw stuff in there and it'd be safe.
Okay. What's our seating arrangement? Whittaker's going to drive. Damien's in a cup holder.
Felicity's in the middle in the back, just like always.
I feel like we'd let Hugo have passenger seats so he doesn't have to squish in the back.
He is the tallest. Yeah, all right. I like that arrangement. So I did the hour calculation on Google Maps. It's a 5-hour drive. It turns
Not too
out
bad.
Autumn Falls is a lot closer to Seattle than it is to Portland. But when I was doing all the map stuff, I was like, no, it still makes sense that supernatural hub would be Portland and that there'd be more just people stuff happening in Seattle. So you guys have quite a drive ahead of you. I think you definitely find Whittaker's song choices are maybe not what you expected.
Felicity is trying to start road trip games where the ones where you look out the window and have to find a license plate that starts with an A.
Mm-hmm.
Now find one that starts with a B.
Yep.
She's the only one.
I'm the only one
Playing.
doing it. Yeah.
I mean, Aidan would play along.
Or 20 questions. She's playing 20 questions.
Mhm.
She's keeping herself entertained.
Meanwhile, Damien's thinking of oh, we should play Truth or Dare and daring people to do things that you should not do in the car. I dare you to jump out. And they're no, Damien, that's not how the game works.
I mean, we're going somewhere. Why? No.
I dare you to climb on the roof of the car.
Okay.
I'll boost you.
Please stay buckled up. What if we just stick to truths? I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, we can do truths. Not as fun, but still fun.
I
The
mean, we have to
Best
sit.
way to play.
So there's.
Looks at Damien. The coolest, most fun way to play the game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Is this a thing we're doing? It's so cool.
Whittaker at the wheel just says, "I have to drive, so I'm gonna not. You guys are about to learn a lot of truths about me and my deal. So let's." Aidan says, "Yeah, it could just be a backseat thing. Damien, you could. There's a cup holder back here. You could."
Backseat party, truths party.
So she's attempting to spare Hugo the truth game if he wants to duck out of it.
Cool.
He essentially has to
So
send himself.
Aidan, truth, have you killed more than one person?
Wow,
Headphone
usually you like start really low, like truth. Do you like pineapple on pizza? And then you gotta progress up to have you ever killed anybody? Like,
I've
Yeah.
honestly never found a group to like really play this game with. I've just always seen it, and I don't really know. I was more curious to see like what her body count was.
The earbud pops out immediately.
She says, yes. I'd rather not get into it, though.
It's hard to count.
just in general?
She says, maybe this is a bad idea.
Told you gotta start small first.
Right. Low ball. Easy question.
Fuck, marry, kill. Members of the group.
No.
Hugo, this is you're up.
Hugo immediately puts the earbuds back in.
She says, Damien, truth. What's your favorite place you've ever been?
So
Is Raven giving her a thumbs up?
Yes. Just silently. It's like, good one.
Yeah, she like her cheeks are a little flushed, and she's just like got her hand on her forehead, like, oh boy, I can't believe that got thrown out in the first round.
well, he thinks for a second. Is like, oh no, that doesn't count. I technically didn't go there. I just like saw it, and it seemed like it'd be like the coolest place ever. So I won't count that. But there was a nightclub in Portland that was lit. Okay, I'm telling you, it was close enough to the airport, so I don't know who was in town that day, but the place was amazing. It was packed, there was dancing. I had to intake and vent out a lot of various substances over the course of that weekend. It was wonderful.
Wow.
Sounds fun. I have one.
Yeah.
Raven.
Mm-hmm.
It's for you.
All right.
It's a ladies' one. You ready?
Oh boy. Yeah.
Raven, do you have a crush on anybody?
Supposed to start small and then ramp up.
Oh,
Oh, you know what? Loophole.
That must mean it's a big crush.
You didn't ask me who.
my next question.
No, you don't get to go. All right. Well, see, now the normal, boring ones sound dumb in comparison. Felicity, what's the weirdest food combination you like to eat?
You know, one time I saw on my Facebook page that this person took a pickle and they wrapped cotton candy around it and they ate it. And I thought, that sounds like the worst thing, but I just had to try it, you know, because like you saw it and like the sugar was like melting a little bit and like it looked like weirdly good. So then I tried it and it was actually good. And I'm pulling this out of my real life.
That's amazing.
Wow.
I had an answer prepared for mine just in case anyone like asked it back, and it was going to be a real life answer.
Okay.
So what's great about this game
So
is I
yeah,
don't have any of these
pickles-
prepared character-wise, so they're just
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Wrapped in cotton candy. Surprisingly tasty.
All right.
Aidan very pointedly is like, that was very cool. I like these easy questions.
I'll go next.
Well, yeah. It's your turn. You just answered.
Raven.
That is valid.
Who do you have a crush on?
All right, Raven hides into her sweatshirt and like pulls it up over her like just hides her whole face, like pulls the hood down, and it's like just muffled in the sweatshirt. And she like, you guys can barely make it out, and she's like, it doesn't matter, she's not here anymore. And then she just stays like in the sweatshirt, like peeks out a little bit, and then just like, ugh, don't judge me.
I think we all had a crush on her. Like, let's be real though.
Yeah, she was something.
Raven just like comes back out of her sweatshirt. Oh, is it my turn to ask?
Sure.
Yeah, that's what we're going with, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of what we've established. All right, Damien, what is your favorite form that you've ever taken? Like person or animal or anything. Or blob shape. What's the favorite you've ever been?
Just cube.
Actually, a dodecahedron.
It's just like, this is like a polygon.
So sometimes when I really want to relax, I just go on a flat surface and just get as flat as possible and just stretch out.
And that's like comfortable?
I don't do it very, very long, but it's nice to just let go and not hold any form for a bit, you know? It's good to stretch out. Let the muscles relax, as it were.
Like when you have slime and you stretch it out really thin? You can like see through it?
Well, it's like
But
if you just
flat
like
on the ground.
let silly putty sit there for a while, it'll just like.
All right. Cool. I didn't know you could do that. All right, you're next.
Okay. Who hasn't had a question asked of them recently?
Hugo.
Hey, Hugo. Hugo. Psst. Hey, what are you listening to?
Podcast.
Now you get to ask one, Hugo.
Hey, Felicity, what just happened?
He asked you a truth. My turn. I didn't.
Raven.
Raven.
Grilling Raven the whole time.
Aiden, what is your favorite time period that you've lived through?
Or has humanity always sucked?
Yeah, that's the question, really. We're pretty garbage, not gonna lie.
No, that's not true at all. My favorite time period. She like thinks for a second and like
I bet it's dinosaurs.
if you do like interrupt her, she's just like, no, I'm still thinking, like, because she's got to literally go back through everything. But she says,
There was I lived with a group of people a long time ago, like a real long time ago, before I came to this continent even. I lived with this warrior from that clan, and we well, anyway, that's my favorite time. I don't actually know what year it was because people weren't really keeping track of that as closely back then.
Second question. This is the bonus one.
oh, those are allowed?
Depends on
So-
the question.
I read on the internet the other day, people don't actually know what color dinosaurs were. They just made it up. They just made up the colors that they were, and they said this one looks like maybe green, so green. What color were the dinosaurs?
I don't know. I think they were before me.
We found something, guys. Something before Aiden. We've done it.
Yes, I am not as old as dinosaurs.
Dang it! I thought I would learn something really cool.
Yeah, she's like, I'm sorry, I wasn't, cool
You
enough.
should have been as old as dinosaurs, Aiden.
I wanted zebra dinosaurs.
Give me rainbow dinosaurs or give me death.
She's like, I'm sure some of them were that color. There were a lot of dinosaurs, Felicity.
There were so many dinosaurs. All right, truth for everybody in the car. What's your favorite dinosaur?
Velociraptors.
Damien?
That big, giant, underwater one.
I like iguanodons or Parasaurolophus.
I think Bethany was right. I am basic. I like the one with feathers. I'm sorry. I just.
Oh, no, that's a cool one. That's a cool one. Hugo, what's your favorite dinosaur?
What?
What's your favorite dinosaur?
Don't pretend like you weren't listening, Hugo.
Yeah.
We can see you smiling up there. What's your favorite dinosaur?
I'm trying to remember if ankylosauruses actually exist.
What was it?
Ankylosauruses.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, because we have some weird fossil that someone said is ankylosaurus, but it's definitely not. Like, definitely, there's no way that we'd actually have something that valuable.
So that's your favorite one? Because you maybe have one at your museum?
Yeah.
Does anyone have any animal phobias? Damien says with an extra big hamster grin.
Yes.
I forgot Damien's been a hamster this whole time.
Yes, I do have an animal phobia.
Bonus question, what is it?
Dinosaurs.
That is a solid answer.
Damien
That's
turns into
it.
a chicken.
That's the end of that scene. We're cutting away. Amazing.
That's also pulling from real life, guys. I'm actually afraid of dinosaurs.
I cannot blame
I'm not
you.
even kidding.
I cannot
Wow.
blame you.
You guys eventually find yourselves on the highway, but you see the skyline of Portland rising ahead of you. Whittaker says from the front seat, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to one of the weirdest places on earth." And when the truck goes through or over one of the bridges, and you are here. Felicity, could you roll a sharp, just a straight sharp, and Raven, you too, actually?
Ooh. 4.
Oh, okay.
Experience.
I got a 10.
Felicity, is this the first time you've ever traveled to Portland?
Yes. Felicity has been absolutely nowhere.
Fair enough. So you're honestly just excited about the sights of the city. You're not really looking for anything out of the ordinary. Raven, though, with your new ability to see things, you pick up on some weirdness beyond just people with strange hairdos or a lot of tattoos and piercings and that sort of thing. You see, as you go by some of the parks, like there are tons of spirits living in the parks. There's one that is sort of a large porcupine spirit that's like snuffling along the ground and like nibbling up food that people have spilled or dropped. You see amongst a bunch of seagulls that are going overhead, there is like a flying seagull that's like many, many different colors, clearly not a normal seagull. You see, when you're stopped at a light, there is a squirrel on a tree riding up, and you see a small, what looks like either a relum or a bogalog type of person riding on its back and carrying like a sack of nuts that's like tied to a harness around the squirrel. So yeah, even just like from the backseat of Whittaker's car, you can see like this place is humming with more activity than the normal person might notice. You keep mostly to the outskirts of the city. You don't really travel downtown at all because, from what I have learned in my research of that city, driving is weird there because they have designed it such that pedestrian traffic gets priority, and there's also a lot of like public transit, rail cars, and a light rail train system. So really, to get around, you take your car somewhere, park it, and then like use that system to go through. And so towards the outskirts, more inland away from the water, you guys wind up at a sort of one of those parking lot kiosks with I guess it's just a bar. I'm sure there's a name for it, but the thing where you take a ticket from. And Whittaker rolls down the window, says to the guy on duty, "Agent Whittaker, returning with some..."
Friends!
Felicity, please. Some locals from my assignment area. And the guy nods, takes a ticket, has Whittaker swipe his badge, and then whoosh, thing comes up. You guys drive through. You don't park in the parking lot. It goes underground. There's like an overflow lot that is subterranean. And when you get down to there, Whittaker parks in a specific spot and then gets out.
He has his own spot?
Of course he does. He's an agent. Says, "So I will probably have to get pulled into a meeting or a debriefing right away, but I'll get you set up at reception, and then they'll run you through some basic introductory sorts of things. And, well, until I can get an actual meeting set up to discuss potentially recruiting any of you, you're free to wander the city if you'd like. I'll make sure that they give you some sort of key card so that you're allowed back in as guests of mine. And as such, please try not to make too big a scene. I am vouching for you all in this regard, and Aidan interrupts him. We'll be on our best behavior, Whittaker. Thank you, Miss Brightwood. Yes, Felicity?
Will they test my magic?
Potentially, yes.
If I go in there and then I announce that I can do magic, will they test my magic?
You might not want to announce it, per se, but discuss it, perhaps, with one of the new orientation agents.
But what do you think would happen?
If you just said, I can do
If I
magic
went
out
in
of the
there
blue,
and I went, magic! And then magic happened.
I wouldn't cast a spell on any of the personnel working here. That's generally frowned upon.
Yeah, Whittaker's told me not to do that plenty of times.
Got it.
Right.
I will not cast spells on people in here.
Yeah, I mean, these are my coworkers. They're all pretty upstanding people. He, like, scratches his head. It's like, yeah, just, it's sort of like you're going to go and talk to a bunch of people who understand what it is you've all been going through.
Love that.
All right, this way. He takes you over, and there's like a glass elevator area that you guys can step into. Oh, you know what we didn't do? Hugo, did you and Aidan figure out a way to get her signature masked at all?
I'd like to think that they would have poured through some books, probably would have gone through probably some of Dr. Amir's research, trying to find a way to dampen without sucking away her power, while also making sure it doesn't hurt.
That would be important. Yeah, you know what? It's a game, and we forgot. Hugo, investigate a mystery, and I will roll to help you out.
Investigate a mystery. It's not too bad.
Okay. You get help. So it's a 9. Doesn't push you up to full success, unfortunately, but...
So I would assume while looking over the various things, we'd want to do a what can hurt it to make sure that either what can hurt it to make sure it doesn't hurt Aidan, or what can it do to determine if the thing that we've made can actually do the job properly.
Rather than a question, it'll use the number to determine like how successful things go. You and Aidan look over a few books that you think might be relevant. You talk to Dr. Singh a little bit to ask him, like, do you think you could design something like this that would mask rather than siphon? He sort of is like, I'd have to start from the ground up. It would be, and I would need you here, and we need to experiment, blah, blah, blah. And I think at one point, you guys are researching there at the museum, and you get a visit from one of your chapter members, because they're yours now, technically. And it is Rianne, the guy who is working under Father O'Rourke.
Yeah.
Right? Did I make it O'Rourke?
Yeah, it was O'Rourke.
Yeah. But anyway, he shows up. I think you probably, when you reached out to him, he hadn't responded over text or anything. So this is his way of responding to you, checking in, basically. He says, oh, good. Well, I didn't expect to see you both here, but this eliminates a trip I would have had to make. Aidan regards him and remembers which group he's with. In regards to what you left on our answering machine at the church, we're fine with the new policies you're putting in place and the new structure of things. Father O'Rourke is very curious about your friend there. Puts a lot of things that he thought were things and throws them all out the window.
Oh.
Aidan is like looking at you, just like, ugh. She seems very uncomfortable.
Sometimes your worldview gets shifted greatly. Yep, that's what we do.
And it's not that he has a problem, he's just, it's thrown him a little bit. Dude's definitely shaken.
Well, if he wants answers, he should do the human thing and reach out, talk person to person.
I don't know that he wants to do that yet. I'm telling you from having hung out with him. You know, we were there a lot together, so.
Oh, fair enough.
So what's your deal? He like directs that question at Aidan, and she's, I'm Hugo's neighbor.
It's a fact.
And he nods. He's like, okay. So playing that. All right. What are you guys doing right now? Oh, and he like sees the book you have open. Huh. Now, why would you be looking at this particular text, I wonder? His eyes dart over to Aidan, then back at you, Hugo.
Every book has some valuable knowledge in it.
Suppose it would be real useful to put the genie back in the bottle, if you could. Go ahead and read a bad situation, Hugo. The badness this time is social awkwardness.
I feel like I should have a negative on that somehow or something.
It works out if you don't, because this is one of your guys. You get 3 holds.
Well, the most important thing right now is, what's the best way to protect the victims?
The best way to keep this guy from prying too much about Aidan would have been to do this research at your apartment. so that he didn't come snooping around. But to actually give you a useful answer, I'll tell you from that he's razzing you a little bit. He's not being malicious in his glances and tone. He seems very amused by the fact that Aidan is here, almost like he doesn't care why. He's just interested in, like, now what? Even though he's working with Father O'Rourke and is an agent of this church, he clearly doesn't seem as hung up on the belief system you might expect him to have. Rianne is also one of the newer members, not quite as new as you were, but he's always had a bit of an attitude which has continued to grow in snark the more he's been around. His experiences are definitely coloring him a certain way.
Disclosure, Hugo is about to go off on him about manners. Thankfully, he's probably not going to, but he was close. I honestly don't know what to do for the other two.
If you want to ask some off questions, that's fine.
Something. Are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
I'll let him apply that question as he's looking over the books you've got out, does a quick scan. He says, I don't think you're going to get any answers from these. None of these scholars really ever drew on divine power, so I don't think you're going to find a way to mask it or hide it with their techniques.
These are the only books that I have locally.
And he nods and smiles. He says, you got to get out more, Hugo. And he reaches into his collar and takes a little necklace with a hanging pendant. It's a protection charm, basically. And he says, I can get another one of these, but it might help for now.
Thanks.
So he hands that to you. Aidan will take it from you if you give it to her.
Yep, hand to Aidan.
And she puts it on. She says, I'm Aidan. He says, Rianne, nice to meet you. And he goes over to a different bookshelf, runs his finger along it real quick, pulls the book out, and he says, we're like a library now, right? And goes before you can object.
Deserve that one.
So we'll say that for the time being, Rianne has given you a little trinket to kind of help keep Aidan's nature a little more concealed. So, back where we were. Eastey Agency, glass elevator. You all step inside. Whittaker hits lobby and whoosh, brings you up through a few levels of car parking lot. And you arrive, and the door for the elevator is actually, it's one of those ones where it opens on one side and then opens in the back. 2 entrance exits to it. And he steps out, and where you are is a large marble floored sort of stark white interior with screens that have different charts and data on them. There are a few people sitting at a bar area just typing away on computers. It's almost like an airport in the hustle and bustle of it, but everyone is either in a dark black suit similar to Whittaker's, or they are not human. You see, agents walking by in heated conversation with what seems to be a ghost, moaning, and they're like, please, sir, come, chasing after him. You see a small group of house elf type folk being pushed on a cart by someone in like a more intern-looking outfit. They don't have the jacket, just like the white shirt with the tie and everything. The small people who are on this cart are like handing and tossing letters to people as they're sitting down. There's like a delivery service. There's like a big shaggy looking creature covered in moss. It almost looks like a troll, but it's definitely like a beast rather than like a stone construct. It has some paperwork that it's like trying to write, and it like keeps breaking the pen basically. The agent sitting behind the table is just like and like gets another one out of their mug and hands it over. It's Men in Black Paranormal is where you guys are. It's exciting and very new and different. Honestly, nobody pays attention to you at first. You guys walk in. Whittaker goes up to a woman at reception at the main desk. Hi, Susie. Got some friends here from Autumn Falls, and would like to give them sort of an orientation. They're on the level. I've been working with them for a couple months now, but any news for me? And she's still typing, looks up at him. She says, "Oh, Agent Whittaker, your open case is still open. There's an agents meeting happening this afternoon if you just want to see what everyone else is up to." Right, yeah. Haven't talked to the team in a while. Might do that. Can I get it like an orientation, like get someone to watch over my friends here, get them situated? I'll see who is available. And picks up her phone. Agent Spiegel and Ross, can you come to the main desk, please? And says, "Oh, great. Yes. Thank you, Susie. Okay." And he turns back to you guys. So Ross and Spiegel should be here soon, and they'll show you around. But like I said, once you get a key card here from Susie, they'll be able to let you in the lobby at least, and you can wait here. But I mean, get yourself some food, something to eat today. And he takes out his wallet and hands you like the card.
Damien immediately is the person to like go for the grab.
I think he like almost instinctively like goes to give it to you because he's feeling a little nervous, but then he's like, actually, I was gonna let Aidan be in charge of that.
Wow.
She takes the card and she says, "I'll get you snacks and things, Damien. Don't worry about it." Like, I'll be able to catch up with you after I check in with folks and like clear up my desk and things. Got mail probably have to go through, probably a lot of boring stuff. You don't want to stick around for that. So I'll catch you later. And he leaves. Susie calls to you from the desk. Could I get your names?
Hello. I'm
Name?
Felicity Starnbrook. I do magic.
She like raises an eyebrow slightly, but like doesn't make eye contact with you. She puts a little RFID card under a thing, waits a second, and then hands it to you. There's like a sticker being printed. She takes that. She's like, "Please apply your visitor sticker to that card. It will grant you access to the front lobby."
Thank you. What was your name again, Susie?
Yes.
Thanks, Susie.
You're welcome. Next.
Raven will step up next.
Okay.
Just
Name?
give a little wave. Raven Eugenia?
Beep. Hands her the card.
And she just takes it and like, I just stick this up. Okay, thank you. Just trying to make things as easy as possible for her.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
like, thank you very much. I'm all set.
Windy, by the way, is like on your back, hanging on piggyback style, and is like looking all around. Their ears are going wild.
I imagine Wendy sits like in like my hood
Yeah,
with
sure.
a little paws on like my shoulders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ghosty and Tom are like riding on Felicity's head, just like peeking out of her curls of red hair. Aidan gets her card and like waits patiently. Damien, Susie,
I have my card here somewhere. My ID. One of these. Aha! This is my Edgecrest ID.
She looks it over. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Hugo steps up. He takes out a pad of paper, writes his name on it, and then hands it to her.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot.
We have a similar process at the museum sometimes, and my name gets weird to spell for people.
Rashad.
Correct.
Type. Beep. Hands you the thing, gives you the sticker. She says, the lounge is on the second floor atrium. You can find the welcome room conference video over in that door, and you don't have clearance for anywhere else. I will give you this, and hands you like it looks like one of those restaurant pager things?
Yes.
She says, hold that. When
Oh,
you
I got it.
finish the orientation video, you'll just wait there until it buzzes, and then your agent liaisons will be there to pick you up.
Can Damien be our agent liaison?
He's still in a probationary period, it looks like, so no.
I tried, Damien. I tried. I did my
appreciate
hardest.
You have been here once, correct?
Yeah, they examined me more than I examined them. I'll say that.
So you guys can go watch the Eastey orientation video, or you can skip that and just go get coffee or something at the lounge.
I do want to see what the Eastey
I do want to see what the orientation is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Raven wants to see the
So
video,
you
for
found
sure.
yourself at the Eastey Agency.
They have a mascot that's named like Eastey the Beastie.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna make it up entirely on the spot. Here we go. So you guys go into this room. The movie begins. That like slow like.
Hold on, are there other people in the room with us, or is
No,
it just
there's
us?
nobody else.
We can comment on it. We can comment on it.
Oh, we spread out.
Like we're in a movie theater
prop our
alone.
feet up.
I'm
Yep.
gonna ask Susie if there's popcorn.
There is not. No.
Thank you.
Damien probably has a bag of smart food he could pull out for you.
Nope.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I mean, there's a vending machine if you want to get popcorn.
Yeah.
It's not a movie without popcorn.
The video's probably like 6 minutes long.
The Eastey Agency logo, like, Eastey Agency. It looks much like a family crest, and, you know, in a banner around it, something in Latin that basically says, like, humanity's protection against the inhuman, or something like that. And the logo does a fade dissolve into a metal relief of it, and then zooms out on a wall, and a woman tall with her hair done up in a sort of business bun and a little clipboard steps forward, and she says, "Welcome to the Eastey Agency Portland branch offices. I'm Olivia Eastey, chair director of the agency at this time, and I'd like to welcome you all to our esteemed supernatural agency." And Olivia on the screen keeps walking. She says, "Our agents are the best in supernatural reconnaissance, law enforcement, and espionage." And she like walks by a group of agents, like all at their desks, are working hard at work and everything. She enters into a room and she says, "We specialize in supernatural event prevention, supervision, and defense against breaches to human society from the supernatural community. However, in recent years, we have modernized and expanded to be more inclusive of the supernatural candidates who want to work side by side with our agents to protect you and your families." And you see what looks like a giant mass of white fur, kind of gorilla-like, but with like a big wide face, blue skin on the face and hands where you can see it, and some short little ridged horns, but also wearing a tool belt and an apron and a little cap. We've been working for many years to keep those in the supernatural community who are at high risk of human interaction safely relocated or offered employment here. And the abominable snowman in the video just waves the way people who are asked to be at a corporate video would.
Woo!
She continues, "We're also working to find job opportunities for people who are displaced by interactions with dark magics and other threatening supernatural events." And you see a guy in a room and his whole body is arcing with electricity. You can see into his body every time it surges through him. He's not being hurt by any of this. He's just in like a padded room. And she says, "Our engineers and supernatural experts are hard at work ensuring that every supernatural trouble can turn into a supernatural opportunity." And it shows like a guy in like a protective rubber suit come over and like hand this dude some sort of device, and the electricity starts to like gets sucked into this battery that starts to like glow and hum, and the guy in the rubber suit like the big thumbs up at the camera. Olivia says, opportunities are always presenting themselves when we are joined by new members of the supernatural community looking to do their part to protect our world. And it fades away from her and then pans up again to that Eastey Agency corporate logo. Thank you for wanting to be part of our solution. Felicity claps again. Aidan gives you a look, Hugo, like, what'd you think?
We're not doing video. I'm not having this. No. I'm glad with what they're doing here, but no.
Mm-hmm. So then you guys hit the little button on your pager, and you wait in the room, and the door opens, and a sort of tall, lanky guy with a bit of stubble and some like dusty blonde hair in an agent suit pokes his head in. Howdy. Y'all the new visitors?
Yeah, you're stuck with us.
All right. Let's take y'all on a little bit of a tour then. I'm Mac. And he holds his hand out to shake someone's hand.
I'm Felicity.
Nice to meet you, little miss. Let's show you
I
what we
do
got around
magic.
these parts. He says, oh, I see. You hear that, Ross? And behind Agent Max Spiegel is a young woman, looks to be about the same age as you, Felicity, maybe or a year or two older than you, but she is in heavy goth makeup, very smoky eyes, completely dark black lipstick. Her skin is like whited out. She has whitish gray hair that's gray at the part, but then like mostly white that comes down past her shoulders. On her back is a very large looking sword hilt. The rest of it is wrapped in tattered looking cloth. And she looks at you all as you come out of the room, and she just goes, yay, new people. And that's where we will end tonight's session. So we
She's
can...
gonna love me.
I bet.
Say something.
Mm-hmm.
I will make her love me.
Agent Hillary Ross.